nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit. I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut. Today we'll go bird watching, tomorrow we'll catch toads. The next day we'll take photographs of bugs along the road. I never get the feeling that I'm in a rut. That's why I'm a nature nut. Well, I'm a nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit. I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut.
Splendid example of tropical Lepidoptera. Hello, nature nuts. How are you? Welcome to the rainforests of Costa Rica. This is the kind of place that a classical Victorian butterfly collector, a lepidopterist, would have dreamed about as a destination for an expedition to collect specimens. Well, we're not here to collect specimens, we're just here to look at the butterflies. We might have to catch a few to get a closer look at them, but we'll let them go, they won't be harmed. And let me tell you, this is a great place for butterflies. It's a great place for just about any kind of living thing. But right now, what I care about is that it's a great place for butterflies. We're gonna have a good time. After all, how can we fail? Or pardon me, how can we fail? Lovely. A bit humid here. You know, these things don't stay in your eyes in a place like this because your face is too sweaty.
About 700 species of butterflies live in the US and Canada, and around the same number in Costa Rica.
Okay, now I want you to pay very close attention. See if you can tell where my real head is. Tricky, isn't it? That's what this butterfly is doing. The butterfly is a hair streak, and at the end of the hind wings, it has a little fake head. When it moves the hind wings together, rubs them together like this, the two little tails move up and down. They look like antennae, and the spot pattern around the base of those fake antennae is the fake head. If you were a little bird, you would probably bite that butterfly in the fake head and wind up with a beak full of wing fragments and not hurt the butterfly at all. The butterfly would fly away laughing the way butterflies often do. Hair streaks, by the way, I like doing that. Hair streaks are not an exclusively tropical group. There are lots of hair streaks all through the US and Canada, but there are probably more species of hair streaks around here than anywhere else on Earth. You should work on this. Disguise the nature of your true head. Sounds very spiritual and New Age-ish. When you can disguise the nature of your true head, then it is time to put streaks in your hair. What do you think of my new net? This is a BioQuip Tropics net, an insect net specifically designed for catching bugs in the tropics. You know, this net is so long you might need 2 guys to work it. And the reason you need a long net is because some butterflies just don't like being anywhere near the ground. Let's go give it a try. Okay, well, the reason you need a long net is because not a lot of butterflies fly near the forest floor. Most of them fly higher up in the forest, and this one is one of the distasteful, slow-flying, long-winged butterflies. This one has the the famous tiger stripe pattern that's shared by many, many mimics in different families. And it's really kind of neat too, because, you know, different mimicry patterns occur at different heights in the forest. And boy, I mean, the tallest trees here are probably 150 feet, 50 meters. So if you were to go for butterflies there, you would need a really, really long net. Okay, take her easy. Slow flying, distasteful, doesn't mind me a bit.
Many long-winged butterflies feed on passion flower vines as caterpillars and get their poisons from the plants.
So you know, my favorite butterflies of the American tropics have got to be the morphos. And the morphos, when they fly along, you get this alternating flash of color, and then they go dark. And then a flash of color, and then they go dark. And then a flash of color, and then they go dark. Why do they do that? Well, let's get a closer look at a morpho, and I'll show you. Okay, this is how you communicate with a morpho butterfly. There are no morpho butterflies here right now, but this is a great spot. They like to hang around rivers, and they'll patrol up and down the rivers because there's a sort of a clear pathway to fly through. And they're attracted to big blue things like this chunk of blue nylon because they're blue. They're big and they're blue, and other big blue things look like morphos to them, which is very exciting. I guess it's probably good to communicate with, you know, color in the rainforest here rather than sound. I mean, there's so much sound already. All these birds and grasshoppers and crickets and grigs and stuff. Howler monkeys, they have to roar to be heard over all this background noise. It's not a very good howler monkey impersonation, but who knows? Oh, there we go. Hey, all right. Look at that, isn't that just something? Whew, there you go. That's a classic scene of the neotropical rainforest. Absolutely classic, beautiful. I don't know if this blue bag worked or not. I don't know if it stopped for the bag or whether it just, you know, happened to come close. Anyway, let me show you in the field guide here. That's what the upper surface of the morpho wing looks like. And you can see it's pure, almost pure blue. This is what the undersurface looks like. It's brownish. It has big eye spots, and we'll come back to that eye spot theme later. But apart from being a way of recognizing other morphos, that flash of color followed by the brown business, that sort of throws off the tracking system of birds that try to catch morphos in flight. And here comes another one. Beautiful. I feel like I'm waving goodbye to a ship. Goodbye, have a lovely journey.
There are many species of morphos, and while most are blue, some are white or orange.
Yes, on the menu today, mashed banana, cantaloupe, fillet of fish, and a bit of beer. We should attract a sophisticated clientele of rainforest butterflies. We'll come back soon to see if that's the case. Well, you know, I really wanted to show you a morpho close up, but I didn't want to catch one back there because I didn't want to mess with such a beautiful scene. So instead, we borrowed one from a local butterfly house, and we're going to use this one for demonstration purposes. It's not being harmed as we speak. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is that the body of the morpho is actually pretty darn small compared to the size of the wings. And that explains why the wing beats are so slow. I mean, this little body has to really to get those wings to turn over. The next thing I want you to notice is the fantastically beautiful pattern of the underwings with all these great looking eye spots on them. I'll give you a hint why they've got them. They've got them in case they get drunk, but we'll come back to that theme as well. And finally, the most impressive thing about a morpho is the color of the upper wings. Spectacular or what? The color is not produced by a pigment. It's not like some sort of, chemical paint in the wings. It's actually produced by the microscopic structure of the scales that make up the color of the wings. They have little ridges and grooves that, by some little magical trick of physics, manage to scatter the blue light and do something else with the rest of the light. And so you get this incredible color that changes with the angle at which you view it. So sometimes it's a little more green, sometimes it's a little more purple. I love it, just plain love it. Anyway, there you go. A morpho in the hand. It's worth two in the bush. And now we'll take it back to the butterfly farm. Butterfly farm. Just call the tractor. Have her back there in no time at all. Okay, well here's what's happening. When fruit is rotting on the forest floor, it often naturally ferments, and it can become about as alcoholic as a very light beer. Now you combine that fact with the fact that about 40% of the butterflies in this part of the world get all of their nutrition from sipping on rotten fruit, and you got a problem. You got a problem with drunk butterflies. As you can see, our bait is attracting a few already. What we have here are satyr butterflies in the genus Pyarella. And you'll notice that they have a little eye spot on the underside of the hind wing. They have them as a defense against predators. I'm sure you realize that, to startle the predators or deflect their attacks to the wings instead of the body. And that is their only line of defense once they become drunk, once they are more susceptible to the attacks of ruthless birds here on the forest floor. Of course, you don't want to get too judgmental about it. It's not really a social problem for butterflies because butterflies are not social creatures. Each individual butterfly takes responsibility for its own actions.
Many tropical butterflies will also sip at carrion, dung, or urine, disgusting as that may seem to us.
She was waiting on the phone. Whoever she was calling wasn't home. She was looking mighty good to me, but then I really couldn't tell 'cause I could barely see. The joint was jumping, everybody having fun. And as she got up to leave, I said, please don't be so quick to run. Oh, have a sip of wine and spend some time with me. The night is ever young and there is much to see. My head is spinning round and round. I can't tell my up from down. It's unreality. Unreality. I hear the phone and my heart stops every day. I got a notion that she hasn't gone away. Every place I go, I keep seeing those big brown eyes. Something about her got me hypnotized. She looked a beauty, a dream on air. And when I saw her again, she was leaving with a friend. I was lost my despair. Oh well, have a sip of wine and spend some time with me. The night is still so young and there is much to see. You got me spinning round and round. I can't tell my up from down. It's unreality. Unreality. It's unreality. It's unreality.
Hey, look, Mom, I'm on TV. I've always wanted to be on TV. Hey, okay, let's get serious. Let's go back and do a little bit of review here. Review the difference between butterflies and moths. Now, a butterfly is nothing more and nothing less than a very fancy kind of a colorful day-flying moth. And the only reliable way to tell a butterfly from a moth is by the fact that butterflies have clubs, little blobby enlargements on the ends of their antennae. Now a moth will either have, excuse me here. Okay, back to moths. Moths will either have just straight, filamentous antennae, or they will have, I don't know if you use the word filamentous as often as I do, but it just means like a filament. Or they'll have big fuzzy antennae. And there's one moth around here that fools just about everyone. It's a beautiful, iridescent green and black and white, and it's called Urania. And it looks a great deal like a swallowtail butterfly. Now, it's not mimicking a bad-tasting swallowtail butterfly. It just looks like a swallowtail because it does the same things as swallowtails. Flies around in the day, has very powerful wing beats, very pointed wings for fast flight, and it even has the long tails on the end of the hind wing, just like a swallowtail. That is just one heck of a good-looking moth, Urania. Okay, bye now. Man, some of these rainforest butterflies are so skittish. It would be better to be invisible to sneak up on them. And that's what this butterfly is thinking too. Well, not what it's thinking, but what it's doing. Have a look at that. There's something you won't see back home. That is a completely clear-winged butterfly. When you think about it, being transparent, that's the perfect camouflage. In a sense, you become invisible because a predator just looks right straight through your clear wings and sees the forest in behind. When a predator gets close, though, the second line of defense are these beautiful big eye spots on the hind wings. They even have a little glint in them, so they look like the glistening eyeball of an angry, venomous snake. Very exciting. It's a wonderful thing for this thing to do. And even though it's one of the most delicate butterflies you can imagine, and look at that. It's got a third line of defense. Plays dead. Plays dead. I said play dead, don't be dead. There, see, it's alive. Clear-winged butterfly. Nice. Mimicry. What is mimicry? Is it merely imitation? Imitation? Or something else? Okay, thanks. Goodbye. Okay. Hard to get the last word in with that critter there. Mimicry. That's what the butterflies of South and Central America are most famous for, and I want to explain it to you here, at least a little bit of it. I've got the field guide. Have a look. Check this out. Isn't this interesting? You see all these butterflies here? They all have the same color pattern, more or less, but they're not closely related. They all independently evolved that same color pattern. Same with this bunch of them down here. This bunch up here. this bunch in here, and these guys down here. Now, isn't that a weird thing? Let me tell you what it's all about. It's all about, well, the reason that we came here. The reason we came here is because there are more species of butterflies here than, just about anywhere else. It's diversity, biodiversity, and that means that, of course, there are more butterflies to learn, which is difficult for a guy like me who wants to be able to know what sort of species of butterflies he's looking at, but it's also difficult for birds. And if these butterflies, many of them taste bad because they take in poisonous chemicals as caterpillars when they're chewing on their food plants, and that gives them the toxins in their body that make birds not want to eat them. So, if the butterflies look like each other, then the birds only have to memorize a few color patterns, and they don't have such a tough time figuring out which butterflies to eat and which ones not to bother with. That's mimicry. It's called Mullerian mimicry, named after a guy named Müller. Mullerian. Mullerian.
In North America, the best-known butterfly mimics are the monarch and the look-alike viceroy.
Well, fellow nature nuts, I think that's about all the time we've got for tropical butterflies. Ooh, I was actually thinking of eating that banana. I think I've been here too long. I've definitely been here too long. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't been here too long. I love it here. It's like, it's like one of those indoor tropical butterfly gardens, except it's not indoors. This is the real thing. I love the real thing. That's because I'm a nature nut, and I hope you are too. See you again soon.
Same time each and every week, uncensored and uncut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut.